Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. I knew I said I'd make some more videos. I did not actually think I would make one quite so quickly. But I have had a couple questions, so I wanted to address them. One of the questions I got was, what made me want to do this now? And I don't mean like in general now. I meant like specifically like, why do it today? Why not do it, 6 months ago, or why not do it later? And I'll be the best answer to that question is I do it right now because I had to do it right now. So, I don't have a better answer. But also, Pride's coming up and in June here in Cincinnati, where I'm from. And I wanted to be able to do some Pride stuff, and I want to be able to do it out, not in the closet, so to speak. So, because I want to go, and this will make it easier because now I can go to Pride, and there won't be any issues with me going saying, "Hey, I went to Pride." Not that there would have been anyway, but because I could have went to Pride anyways. I have lots of straight friends that I know that go to Pride, so clearly I could have done it that way. But I just want to do it, and plus, I am convinced that there'll probably be plenty of people who will be using that opportunity to come out and say, "Oh my, look at me, I'm coming out." And I did just want to, and I just, I was ready to do it, and I'd actually wanted to do it like a month ago, and it just took me almost 4 weeks to figure out like how to say what I was going to say. And even then, I still have a much bigger story to tell, which as I said, I'm working on that as well. But then the second question is that I got was, wow, pansexual, and I thought originally when I said that, I thought I'd done a pretty good job of describing kind of where I was coming from in the previous video, but that is apparently not the case, because I had some people that didn't know what the word meant or didn't understand what I meant by it was more like it. So I thought I'd answer that question for y'all. And I'll start off by giving you a little bit of background about why I chose pansexual to begin with. It kind of came together really honestly the very day that I made the video. I hadn't considered that label at first because I don't know, I just hadn't thought about it that far. And then one of my friends suggested it, and I'm just like, oh my God, that is like the most perfect word for what I was trying to feel it. And basically, here's kind of the reason why, and the biggest question was, why not use bisexual? Why use pansexual? Or why not use gay or something? And of course, I already discussed the fact that I kind of wished I was gay. That would have made things easier for me personally, but I'm not gay, so I couldn't do that. That wouldn't have worked. Although when I originally had my situation where I kind of uncovered all this and sort of had to embrace myself and all that stuff, I actually did have an opportunity, and I had considered coming out as gay because at that moment I was looking more at relationships exclusively with men at that point, which gay would have made sense in that. But as I really looked at and came to terms with the feelings that I was experiencing, I realized that I was really having more feelings than that. It just that wouldn't have been correct. So that's the reason I didn't go with that. And of course, I thought about coming out as bi, but the problem with bisexuality is that unfortunately, in the LGBTQ community, it's actually, ironically enough, not necessarily considered a real thing. I know that seems strange to people, but it is actually true. And in fact, it's an old standing joke in the gay community. It's bi now, gay later. And there's actually some truth to that. Actually, it's actually, although it's not as true as people think, roughly 50-something%. There's an exact number, and I could find it for you if you really want, but it doesn't really matter. About half of people that come out as bisexual end up coming out as gay later. And the ironic thing is about half the people that come out as gay end up coming out as bisexual later. So there really is a bit of a flip-flop there. And then there's some people that come out as bisexual because they're not really ready with themselves to embrace their gay side, if you will, or their gayness, or whatever you want to call it. So they come out as bi because it's more acceptable, and not just because society has been, lately in the past few years becoming more open to that idea. And I get that. So, so some people have sort of used it as a half measure, and I did mention that in my other video. So that was kind of like part of that, and and then for me, it's just a lot more complicated than that. And let's look at the words, right? I mean, what does bisexual really mean? Bisexual means that a person has sexual attraction, specifically sexual attraction, to members of the same gender as themselves or to the gender is not themselves, okay? And that works on the assumption that there are only two genders. Well, I'm sorry, folks, that is not true. There are not two genders. There are multiple genders, and we have males, we have females, we have intersexed folks, we have transgendered folks, we have people that may be in a male body but are not specific, they don't identify themselves as male or female. We have non-binary folks out there, all sorts of stuff there. And then let's look at the reality of attraction. I mean, bisexuality means you are attracted sexually to members of two things, males and females. That's it, really, honestly. And and we know from the Kinsey study that back in the 70s, I think, is when that was done. They kind of presented this concept of we have this continuum of sexual expression. On this side, you have. We're gonna lose my phone there. Now here we're gonna have to do it this way. Sorry, folks, for the craziness there. You're going to have to watch me hold this now. Sorry, you're not going to get my hand showing you that. Anyway, on this side, you have, gay. And on this side, you have, straight. And this idea that most people are in the middle, and so you have kind of this idea that you have 70% of roughly the population is some sort of bisexual. Well, once again, but we're back to the sexual attraction. That study was about sexual attraction. What about romantic attraction? What about emotional attraction? Like in my case, the reason why I went with pansexual is because I oftentimes find myself attracted to, say, women, right? But I'm not talking about sexual attraction. I'm not attracted to it all. Not every woman. I mean, I do like women, of course, because I do have sexual attraction to women. But a lot of times, I'm more attracted to a woman from an intellectual or an emotional perspective. And I might even want to be in a relationship with a woman, but I'm not sexually attracted to them at all. Now, could I make that work in a relationship? I suspect I probably could, and I suspect that there are a lot of people who do things like that. That's why you see gay men coming out and they're, when getting divorces later in life and then suddenly realizing they're gay and whatnot. It's because they do things like that, or those things happen, and that's fine. But for me, what I mean by pansexual, and the reason why I'm using pansexual specifically is because it's more inclusive. It doesn't rule out me having relationships with people beyond just sexual, because pansexual isn't about sexual attractions, it's about relationships. And I like relationships with all kinds of different kinds of relationships with people. And by being pansexual, I'm not ruling out that I could have a relationship with a transsexual, for a transgendered person. I'm not ruling out that I could have a relationship with a intersex person. I'm not ruling out that I could have a relationship with a non-binary gendered person. And those things are all really cool. And actually, I find them quite fascinating, and I'd love to meet people in all those different... Actually, I probably know people in most of those things now that I think about it. But, and I find it fascinating to me, and it's interesting. And the other problem is, how do you rationalize that? It's like, oh, well, I like this stuff sexually, but I'm not emotionally into that. Okay, or I like this and I'm into it emotionally, and that's fantastic, and I'm into it sexually. So, and you can certainly do that in this world. And so basically that's why I picked pansexual, because pansexual allows for all of that particular kinds of expression, because pansexuality isn't about just the sexual attraction. Whereas to say bisexual, or gay, are specifically limiting it to the sexual attraction side of it, not the emotional attraction side of it, or not the long-term romantic relationship side of it, or these kinds of things. This leaves me open to have relationships with people that are not gender-based, and I oftentimes find that's the case. It's not as simple as, oh, she's a girl, I must be attracted to her, or, oh, he's a man, so I must be attracted to them. Because if I was bisexual, it would be like, ooh, there's a girl, she matches my parameters of what I typically find attractive, so therefore, if I have feelings for her, it must be sexual. No, that's not true at all. At least not for me, anyway. I might find this person really attractive and have absolutely no sexual desires at all, or attractive, but I still want to be in a relationship with them. So, or that person, and once again, so what I find attractive and what I'm attracted to, isn't really, as I said, it's not based on gender. That's the hardest thing to explain, I guess, is that pansexual is not about making decisions and sexual and relationship decisions is not based on gender. That's why pan is in there. So that is the whole point of why I chose pansexual to come out as. It's because, as I said, I'm attracted to people, not the specific anatomy or that they have, and or how they might present themselves to the world, or what they might say they are, or how they identify themselves. And I hope that answers the question. I think I've covered a lot. I've actually talked more in this video than I did in the whole entire other one. So hopefully that does make sense for you all. But before I do that, I really want to thank everybody for all the amazing outpouring of support and love that I felt. I mean, I felt it before, and I knew what I had in my own heart, basically. So I knew that the world is oftentimes a reflection of what you have inside of yourself. So I was totally in love with kind of the space I was in. So I expected nothing less than from my friends and family and people. And well, the good news is, that's happened. So, and I just cannot thank all the people that have reached out to me, personally, in the comments, on Facebook and everywhere else that people, come in contact with me. And I just really cannot express in words how much, your love for me really means to me, and how much I love all of you as well. And so anyway, since I'm going to do this video in the car, and I'm not going to spice it all together and put a title and crap on it, because it's going to take me forever to do that, I'm just going to post this as is. So, you like the video, there's a button down there, click like. You want to see more videos, click the subscribe button. It's over here or over there. I'm not really sure how that works on your side. And if you have a comment or a question, put it down in the box there. I'm perfectly happy to answer questions. This is another one of those videos. It's just straight off the cuff. It's going to be live. I'm not going to edit this at all. So, in fact, it's in my car right now. I'm getting ready to go to work here. Thought, I'm in the mood. Somebody asked me this question again. It's like 3 times. So I was like, well, I guess the universe wants me to answer that question. I hope I did. And if you're watching this video and you've not watched my coming out video, perhaps maybe it might even be confusing. So you can go back and watch that one too. Anyway, thanks everybody for your support again, as I said, and I will see you the next time. And I promise, for all those that want to hear the epic love story that is how I got to this point, it's coming, I promise. Anyway, thanks all. Bye-bye.